doing it and then dish it out between the two of you playing a mini game. But there is no direct player-to-player conflict. That's a tough one to swallow for most people, but it actually opens up a huge amount of choices. Once you put away combat, what actually you're going to do in an MMO, and you can do a lot of things, but most people don't because they have combat and that's so easy for them. Whoa, that's good. Most of our mini games are well, I wouldn't say close because that's not a nice word, but they obviously build on well-known other minigame principles. Like this was close to Bejeweled, maybe. It's a match 3 game. But we add a couple of layers on top of that. So a usual minigame would start off fairly easy as it would, if it were Bejeweled, it would play quite similarly. But we add more stuff to that, to the minigame side. For example, we've got tools which will, in essence, allow you to sort of cheat in the game. They're very much like magic items, so they have special effects that help you play, help you win. And when as the game progresses, it gets way more difficult to win at the minigames. So you want to use your tools, want to collect tools, different tools in order to optimize what you do, because you can't be sure which minigame you are going to play inside that building, so you might want to stock up on this tool or another tool. And there's a lot of stuff that you might want to do. We also have alarm levels, for example. If you're inside a building and you fail at a minigame, your alarm level is raised. Once the alarm level reaches a certain point, an alarm goes off and the player who raised that alarm will actually be ghosted, which means he can still be of use to the group. He's still in the building, he's not just kicked out, it's not player death. But if you play with 3 or 4 people, I follow a couple of my buddies, we break into a target, and the target in higher levels might actually take you 2 hours to play, because it's really complicated. There's like 50 rooms and cameras, and you need to figure out the system, and you need to get into the vault where all the gold is. And if you fail often enough because you bad luck or it's just very difficult, we don't want to punish you by throwing you out. Everybody else will have less fun because the 3 guys that went with you, they need a 4th guy to do stuff. He needs to disable the alarms while they open the doors. And if you're just gone, then they don't have somebody. Either they need to find somebody new, go outside, find something new for the group, or they need to do something else. So what we do is we actually try to make it useful for the player. If he's lost, he'll be a ghost. So you can't pick up stuff, you can't move stuff, you can't open stuff, but you can walk around, you can actually walk through walls and help other players scout. So you'll be sort of their lookout. So even if you lose in that game, in the sense that you did succeed in doing something in the target, you'd still be useful to the group and you can still have fun being a part of that group, whilst the other guys do most of the work, obviously. But that's one of the principles where you didn't want to put away players from playing the game, simply because they fucked up with it. Obviously the targets, that's the initial level, like that's the easiest targets, 1 or 2 rooms, fairly straightforward mechanics. It gets way more complicated if you imagine a huge casino with 70 rooms and walls and guards and cameras and a 5-people team that wants to succeed in getting all the interesting loot out of that and getting extra stuff there. So that's another mini game where you need to unlock a door and you need to bring those little balls up there. In order to do that, you click on colors and they go away. Again, it's fairly easy now. It really gets a bit more complicated. There's a limited amount of time for the games, which means you're under constant pressure to actually succeed in doing that. And like D now isn't, yeah. See, you can fail even at level 1. But the time element is important. You only have a limited time for break-in. So you really, in the higher levels, you really need to think about what you do. You need to talk to your friends that go with you into that break-in and really have a strategy for cracking this. It's a bit like a sort of a permanent boss fight. You can't just go in well, you can just go in and go, well, what's around here? I'll just click on a couple of things and try to steal a bit of money. But if you want to be really successful, if you want to fulfill the more difficult goals, if you want to gain more gold, gain more items, then you really have to think of the building as sort of the boss enemy and you need to figure out the best way how to coordinate your people. At the same time, because we don't want you to have to wait for an hour before actually entering it, because you need the other 20 guys and you need to phone them up and you need to chat them out until it takes ages until all of your guild is there, ready, buffed up, and then you go in and the fight lasts for all 5 minutes. We have a lot of content that's 1-player content, 2-player content, 3-player content, because 2 guys you almost always get into the room, and playing with 2 people you might even play in the same room. Finding a 3rd guy fairly easy. We've got 5-player content for the high-end gameplay, but beyond that, we don't want to have you wait in the game and organize in the game. We don't want to have game-related stuff that is not actually the game. We want to have fun in the game, which means we limit the amount of groups that you have, and you can always go in and do something. A couple of other things you can do apart from the missions. As I said, you can play duels against other players, so duel them in a mini-game, bet on yourself, bet on the outcome. You can have regular tournaments to see who can play the minigame the best, who can be the fastest, who can acquire the most blue stones, or whatever, different goals to the tournaments. And you can of course win stuff. Now, all that being said, well, I haven't talked about yet the actual character. Let's look at the character screen. Okay, yeah, that's fairly easy. Drag and drop your stuff in here. For every mission that you have, you get a blueprint, and the blueprint tells you how your success rate is, how long it'll take to get to the target, what minimum level you might have to have in order to get into it at all. And if you, for example, if you succeed at, let's say, 2/3 of the mission, you get the main mission goal, and you get like 50% of all the rest of the loot out, then that's good, and the blueprint will say, okay, if you complete the mission, you need to go to the quest giver and get back the blueprint. If you succeed 100%, for example, which is much harder to do, as I said, in mid to high level, you will get extra stuff. You can collect this 100% successful things, and if you get like 10 of them, you can transfer them and get extra items from special vendors that will reflect the extra success you had, so you get more famous and more interesting. Which brings me to the character page now. Please have a look at the character. Yeah, this is our basic character screen, like a couple of clothing items. They can be vanity items, so a lot of stuff of the time you might just want to dress up nicely, and we will allow you that because we'll offer you a lot of items to modify your character. We also offer special items, like you might have gloves that help you in minigames because they make you more able to solve them, or you might be able to have you might be able to loot things quicker and use less time doing it. And you might have shoes that allow you to run faster. The usual magic item stuff, everything that you can modify with regards to the character, and switch shoes. You can actually have a magic item, solve a magic item for. Now, the character stats, this is another one to swallow. We don't have strength, we don't have dexterity, we don't actually have anything. We don't even have skills. Because in essence, playing the mini-games, the skill is with the player, not with the character. And we want you as the player to count. Whether you're level 30 or level 1, you might be just a very good player in playing visual, and then you can succeed at something a level 30 character can't succeed in. But it's you, the player, and not the character that decides the outcome. So we don't need skills, we don't have that. You have factions, you have a lot of reputation stuff, but in essence we have a couple of ranks that are important. And they're important not so much to us. They're not an abstraction of your experience. The abstraction of your experience is level. You do skill level 2 now, you've played a couple of mini games, succeed a couple of missions, you just get skill level. Skill allows you to enter stuff that you wouldn't be able to, like if we have this level 3 location, you need to be level 3 to get in. So you need it for progression. It measures your progression in the game against the game world, but it's not an artificial thing that somehow a level 30 character is better or mightier than a level 1 character. And if I run across a level 1 character, I beat him up. It's nothing like that. You actually, oops, you press the button that you're probably not supposed to. Yeah,
it's a nice trick.
Yeah, it's a nice trick. So what we have is a ranking and stats that are important for you